Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. This is the Polestar 3. I cannot tell you how excited I am that this is here. You guys know I just filmed a whole review of the Volvo EX90, my first sort of look at that vehicle, and I just found out that Polestar also had the 3 here. So guess what? We're getting this video in too. Holy smokes, super pumped. So this is the 3rd model in the Polestar lineup. You and I have made videos together. We've been in the Polestar 1, driving all around Napa Valley, absolutely amazing car. We've been in Polestar 2 countless times. Most recently, I just took it on a whole Swedish road trip and took it home to the home of Polestar, which was a really fun trip. And now I'm able to present to you the Polestar 3, my first time seeing the car along with you guys. And we're here at CES 2023. They have it in this back weird corner, but wow, what an insanely cool looking car. A lot of details to get into. As usual, I'm gonna try and give you the most thorough tour yet of this vehicle. I'm gonna show you the inside, the outside, the tech specs, everything we know. So let's get into my first look at the Polestar 3. Here we go, the Polestar 3, Polestar's 3rd model. Wow, looks amazing. Certainly in this black and white contrasting spec right here. This particular one, you have to actually forgive us for some of the video here. It's so tight where this vehicle is. It's definitely not made for filming YouTube videos, but a huge thanks to Polestar for sort of blocking us off in this little corner so we can actually film this car to you. I would imagine this is a Euro spec model. We'll open the charge port and check, but the reason I say that is because this isn't orange. I wonder if this will be orange on US models. It may or may not be, but there is an FMVSS code that says you need to have an orange indicator somewhere, and I'm just not seeing the reflector here on the side. But look at this light up Polestar inside of this little light right here. We have a lot of design details to go into. This is probably not going to be as in-depth as the EX90 because we had access to Volvo USA designer, and that was really fun to talk to Nick about that vehicle. We mentioned this in comparison, but just so you guys get an idea, because you're already familiar with EX90, this is a 2-row, so a 5-seater instead of a 7-seater, but it's built on the same chassis. And so, of course, air suspension, dual motor as standard. This one's actually the twin motor with performance pack, and yeah, pretty crazy. It means 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds with this model, 4.9 seconds without the performance pack, and just, man, does this thing not look amazing, Alyssa? Yeah, Alyssa thinks it looks great. Look at the lights back here. You can see this really cool C shape, but look at all these little lights that come out the taillights as well. Really cool to see these lighting accents. Very small rear window if you take a look here. Look at how tiny this little windshield wiper is. And what's cool is, I don't know if you can see my hand sticking out up here, up top. Take a look up over here. Full airflow to come back. So you may actually not even need the windshield wiper because you have this air curtain, flowing air back down. This thing seems so much better aero optimized than I'm finding in the EX90. So let's talk about battery range tech specs to start. And to start, obviously this one's a Euro spec model. We knew that from the indicators on the side. Curious to see how the US one will look. I kind of worry if those things are going to be orange on the front of the US ones, it's going to look a little bit odd. We'll see how they do that. We have 11 kilowatt AC charging here, 250 kilowatt peak DC fast charging. Of course, that's done with this little tab here. I wish they did a little bit different job rather than having something we have to pull in and out. And I bring up the same comments I did with the EX90 about the charging. We're just going to move to get out of some of the traffic way over here. 250 kilowatt charging on a 400 volt system architecture like this would mean you need more than 500 amps delivered to the vehicle. CCS currently allows for a maximum of 500 amps. Does that mean the standard's going to change? It must, because Volvo and Polestar are both saying, hey, 400 volt system architecture, CCS plugs, we're going to dump the juice. Wouldn't it be interesting, just a guess, if this vehicle shipped with the NACS connector though, which is certainly not amperage limited? Don't know, doubt it. I really doubt it, but I think that would be really freaking neat, of course. Battery pack here, 111 kilowatt hour usable, I believe, or not usable, 111 kilowatt hour gross. I believe 17 modules, and at least from the rumors I'm hearing, same with EX90, about 107 kilowatt hour usable battery pack capacity. There's an 80% recommended daily charging limit on the vehicle, so that's what you should charge to most of the time. Of course, you can slide the slider to 90 or 100%. Same thing like we've seen in Polestar 2 many times. In terms of efficiency and range, this brings up a really interesting point. It's rated for 300 miles of range in the non-performance pack, 270 miles of range with the performance pack. That's probably just a wheel combination that's impacting that, so not totally sure what's going on there, but something interesting to note. The EX90, which is a boxier version of this with more room, is also rated for 300 miles of range. So what's going on here? Because that should be a less efficient vehicle. Maybe they're underrating this, under-promising and over-delivering. The base version of this is actually the performance version drivetrain of the EX90, at least according to numbers. So 360 kilowatts of power, same in the high-spec EX90. This one bumps up to 380 kilowatts in this performance version. And if you actually look just over here, you'll see the EPA rating, at least in their cycle, was 389 to 432 watt-hour per mile in their testing. So that's not insanely efficient either, especially in the EPA test. So this might be a little bit of a thirsty beast. We'll have to play around and see. I love Performance Pack Polestar. Same with Polestar 1. Every single one of those had the Performance Pack. Polestar 2, of course, you could option the Performance Pack, and it gives you these awesome, in this case, Brembo, it looks like, brakes. Look at the color in here. Absolutely amazing. Juicy brake discs on this thing. I'm seeing non-slotted, but vented discs. And so non-slotted, non-drilled, vented. Interesting choice. I don't like drilled discs. They crack in my driving style because I'm pretty hard on them quickly. Big temperature swings. So interesting they didn't go for slotted. It makes sense because you would actually feel some vibration. Fully adjustable air suspension here, so for height and I believe damping as well, active damper. You can also option a torque vectoring rear diff on this, which this being a performance pack will have. So maybe you can actually get some skids in, which would be kind of fun. In terms of sound system, looks to be a similar and maybe identical sound system to the EX90, probably adapted to this side, but Bowers & Wilkins, you can always tell with the speaker on the dash that you optioned the good sound system, and I believe same Dolby Atmos reference quality sound system that we would expect from the Volvo sister car. So before we jump inside, I think the last thing I just need to tell everyone is price, which I haven't done yet. I actually don't know, so I'm looking it up because we are professional here. Price on the base one's $83,900, and on the max one, $89,900. Wow, more expensive than EX90, because EX90 you'll be able to spec a nice one for $80,000. This will be built in Charleston, South Carolina, or just outside at the factory, but it's over the price cap for the tax credit. If they could just knock $3,000 off the base one, you'd get an additional few thousand, maybe even the full $7,500 off at that point. So I bet they'll update their pricing. That's my guess. If they don't, wow, that'd be a little bit crazy. In terms of design up front, really cool, similar take on the Thor's hammer, but a little different. Very intricate details here. It has very much more of an Asian vibe than the EX90 does. A lot of Chinese cars are having these sort of intricate details up front. Again, this is the thing that I'm worried about, being orange in the US spec version. And then you can see some air management going on here, where this is a full air scoop that comes up to manage the airflow over the front. This might also be pretty good for pedestrian safety. Of course, there's a whole bunch of sensors around the vehicle. I'm looking at an array here in the windshield of, I believe, 3 cameras. And what's interesting is there's actually just one camera up here. There's no LiDAR in this like there is on the Volvo version. I know I'm comparing both, but they're literally both built on the same chassis. And so that's an interesting take for sure. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the inside. So if we could open up one of the doors, that would be great. Thank you so much. And this one, obviously being a very early production unit, has the screen set to a certain area, but just come around this side and you can take a look at this gorgeous interior I'm looking at here. So this door, really nice sort of textile material, these new materials almost through here. Loving the Bowers & Wilkins black line that flows through, really nice light colors. Interesting, this capacitive situation. The window switches feeling quite nice. There is a pitch. Also seems to be the door release right here to get out. Let's take a look. Bowers & Wilkins speaker down here. It's definitely a different system than what's in the Volvo because they have the speakers up here. So a totally different adapted system here. Take a look at the seats and you'll actually see, first of all, a beautifully designed seat. But Alyssa, do you know what I'm already worried about? crinkles. This is a brand new car. Now, certainly it's a show car. People have been in and out looking around it, but just look at the driver's side bolster right here. And you can see dye transfer, wrinkles, this not being totally melded to the seat. You can almost see I can pick up the material. So maybe it's an early one. They need to adapt the seats a little bit. I'm noticing some changes from earlier Polestar seats. You'll see some accents down here, perhaps some speakers in the headrest, and then you'll actually see some text right here. It says 100% traced material, and it's all about the well-being of where all the materials came from. So that's really interesting. I'm going to try out the back seat as well. You know, interestingly, this vehicle really kind of speaks to me a bit. I'm kind of really excited about it because I've always been a bit of a Swede speed guy, if you will, and this is like awesome. The Polestar 2 was always missing something, and maybe it was built on CMA, so it was an adapted combustion chassis to electric. It always had the intent to become an electric car, but I don't know, something about this being a full EV from the ground up really makes sense to me. So let me sit in the driver's seat right here for the first time. Wow. First of all, the noise in here is really quiet. Take a look up here on the roof. You'll actually see the Polestar logo up here, similar to Polestar 2, but I don't believe this is a projection. Yeah, I believe that's just inside the glass, which is pretty crazy. The seat itself, very similar to previous Polestar seats. This is actually the seat control like we saw from the EX90, but it's currently not functional. This car's sort of half on, half off. And what I'd love for you guys to do is actually have a seat in probably the passenger seat. Alyssa, what do you think? And let's go through some of the UI. Let's explore the interior a little bit. Well, you join me inside the Polestar 3 now, and you can see frameless mirror right here, very nice. You'll see, similar to the EX90, all these lights around the outside, passenger airbag. Also, this is where the, I believe the lights come out of. If we hit this and this, yes. And in typical Polestar and Volvo format, I can usually hold it to dim, yes, and then it will stay dimmed. Ah, I love that. That is always one of the best features of Volvo products. I love that. Really nice side view mirrors in this car. Same with EX90. If you wouldn't mind taking a look out of your side over here, Alyssa, you can take a look at just how much that glass really fills the entire space. What do you think about that?
I really like it. I think the mirrors on both of this car and the Volvo, I really enjoy.
Yeah, there's so many comparisons to the Volvo because they're using the same stocks, which feel really nice. This doesn't feel so nice.
Pre-production.
No, that feels production intent. Okay, maybe they need to work on that. I never pushed it in the Volvo.
Okay, we get it.
It's not good.
No.
Okay. Turn signals, everything's deactivated, but like, everything's nice except for that button. Steering wheel, really nice wheel. I believe it should tilt and telescope somehow. Maybe through software, might be computer controlled. Either way, these should have backlit buttons in them. Right now they're not doing anything, but that should be a situation. Nice fine grained material here. You can see the vertical touchscreen just under 15 inches, I believe 14 and a half inches, very large. Really doesn't feel undersized, small perimeter around the outside. And I think in this one, we can actually use the software, which we couldn't do in the Volvo. You can see here, it's got one pedal. So I imagine it has a one pedal driving situation. Look at all this. You have a better route planner built in, Spotify, performance. I'm sure some of these things just don't even work. Yes, that one's not letting us go in there, for example. Very interesting. But navigation does seem to be working. So let's see.
I think it's just
I think it's fixed. I think they only let you do, just a couple things. What happens if we hit home or work? Yeah, it's all turned off for the most part. Early days, I guess.
Anna's phone. That was the same with the Volvo.
Anna's phone? So someone named Anna must have created all of this. There's a glove box option, but it doesn't actually open the glove box, so we can't show you that. Can we see? Cool. So creep on and off. ESC off. Oh, thank God. That's such a big thing. They always had ESC sport mode, and off lets you have some fun. Look, it's a drifting Polestar 3. How cool is that? Raised suspension, performance mode. It says enables better acceleration and handling by optimizing power distribution to the wheels. So why wouldn't you just always want that on? Let's go for it. Steering feel, light, firm. Suspension feel, nice. And one pedal drive, you can have, of course, more regen or less. So that's really nice. All the driver assistance functions here, driver alert system. This one uses a smart eye system. So actually, if you look ahead, you'll see like a recreation of me. That's me moving around on the right. I wish I was that attractive, but I'm not. So, but yeah, actually, it knows where my eyes are going, which is kind of cool. So there's some sort of sensor. I'm not really sure where. It must be in the mirror, around the mirror. Oh, it's coming from here, I think. Don't know. Don't care. Oh, no. It's all of this.
Yeah.
Somehow with my hand here, it still knows what I'm doing. Doesn't matter. There's a
It
ready
knows
to
where you're
drive.
touching or where you're distracted by with your eyes.
It does. That's cool. So there's roadside information. It'll beep at you if the car in front of you drives away. Blind spot monitoring, of course, really nice. Here's the charging limit. You can see 80%. We're at 80% right now. You can, of course, bump it to whatever you want. 16 amp limit. Let's see, what's the maximum we can go to? It should be 48 amp. 5, 6, 7, 8. What? There's no way. I think it just goes forever. Let's see. If it goes past 80, that would be wild. Yeah. So this is just now we got to see how high can we go. That's a lot of amps on AC charging. Someone just take a screenshot of this and be like, fastest onboard charger ever coming to Polestar 3. That'd be pretty wild. Not only are they overdriving their DC power, but they're doing it with the others. So sound focus concert hall, just out of the Gothenburg concert hall, similar to Volvo's Bowers and Wilkins systems. You can open up the speakers in the rear, mute front, tone settings, really nice adjustments here. Dolby Atmos on or off, really great. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connectivity, privacy stuff, car location sharing. That's really nice that you can turn that off. Controls, glove box still won't open. Wow, this is all just typical stuff. Fold headrest, doesn't work. Reduced alarm, Google, system and apps, nice. But anyway, really limited things that we can do here with this system. I really wanted to show it how it does route planning, because Polestar does really good route planning, does en-route battery preconditioning on the way to a charger. Really nice stuff. I have to say, sitting in here, this, as much as I love the EX90 for like a family car, this feels more me.
Yeah. The dogs could easily fit back there.
The color combination on this car, white with this interior.
You just love the accent
The
stuff.
the gold
Yeah.
seatbelts.
You
Hell
just-
yes, this is the best part of the whole car. And look, ambient lighting here in the vents as well. And you can see this is how you adjust your air vents. No stupid automatic situation, which is really nice. So I'm glad that they have that. There's also a head-up display. It's currently off, but that will be there. Just tons of room in these cars. EX90 certainly had more headroom. Windshield I wish was a bit taller. Yeah, this feels really nice. So what do you say we try out the back seat and then we call it a video? And here we go. I just want to show you inside the trunk. We're not able to show you under the front trunk because they actually have a whole bunch of computers for the Smart Eye demonstration, and they don't want to show it. They also don't want us to show you underneath the floor here. Should we lift it up? Okay, we won't do that. But just like EX90, it should go pretty deep is what the guys were saying. You can take a look here. Pretty interesting loading characteristics. Because it slopes down in the rear, you'll actually notice that it really comes down here. So I'm not sure you could fit nearly as many dog crates as you could in the Volvo version. But I think that's a worthy compromise to have. You can see it goes back. There's a ski pass through as well. Little latches here for bags and things like that. Yeah, not exactly sure how that works. There's a 12-volt outlet here, latches. Yeah, pretty nice size trunk space for sure. Definitely more than Polestar 2, and seemingly a really nice hatch. Definitely, is there enough headroom for you to get up under there? Yeah, and you're almost 6 feet tall, so that's pretty good. Looks like it's a pretty good lift height, and no. What was that?
Tiny window.
Yeah, very small window, but actually a little overhead window when this is closed as well, which is kind of cool. Yeah, a huge thanks to the guys from Polestar for letting us fold the seats down for you guys, but you can see almost flat as well. Really opens up when you get out of this area, but very nice. This, of course, can be removed as well, but plenty of room going this way. I always recommend pulling the seatbelt buckle up and out of the way so it doesn't leave an impression when you fold them, but just a nice amount of room here. Almost no complaints at all about this back seat, other than just how thick the the side of this is down there. There must be a lot of equipment going on in there. Oh, nice, Alyssa. Good point. B-pillar vents here, but I think this might actually be more for defogging the window than it would be for these vents. I'm actually going to fold these up, sit in the back seat, and give you an impression on the space now. Sitting in the back seat now, and have to say, very comfortable. Pretty big rake going to the back, but no headroom issues at all, which I was kind of worried about in the Polestar 3 because of that slope in the back, but no, there is plenty of room, not even close here. Very nice. Center armrest here with cup holders, big cup holders. Very nice. Feels very comfortable. Like it a lot. The material is the only thing I'm worried about, and I just hope this is pre-production because everything is folding here, and I just think if you're really not taking care of this material, it might start to wear quite quickly, is my only impression. 2 USB-C ports in the back, heated rear seats, temperature controlled on this screen right up here. Nice air vent control as well. You can twist them to open and close. Really nice tactile feeling. And overall, just a wonderful landscape. Let me grab the camera really quick so I can give the viewers an idea of how awesome this car looks from in here. Is this just not an awesome view? You get this beautiful glass roof overhead. Nice contrasting colors. This is 100% the interior color I would go for over black, especially with these seatbelts and the performance. They should just only sell the performance pack version. So cool. Really love all the little details that Polestar does in these things. Just a nice interior. Lights up here as well. Any comments you have, Alyssa, about the interior before we wrap up the video?
I would just love to see Blue's nose boops all over this window.
Right, the dog looking up. That'd be really funny. Yeah, cool. Well, let's go wrap up this video with my final thoughts. Just to show you, of course, under here, you can see the front trunk. We're not going to open just because there's a few different pieces of equipment in here, but you can see the latch is actually in a different place on Polestar 3 than EX90. EX90 was over here. In this case, it's actually all the way to the side. So that's an interesting one to take note of. I know I made a big point about the washer fluid in the Volvo video. This one does not have the big cap, but at least it's user accessible right there. So no hard things. I like the double latch on the hood, so it should stay closed really nicely. And overall, just a nice, clean design here. Although I think the front trunk, in my impression, is going to be perfect for you to bring your charging cable. If you're in Europe, you know, bring your Type 2 cable. In the US, maybe a mobile connection, but not much more space. The trunk's going to be way more useful than having this under here. And there you guys have it, the Polestar 3. My first look, a total surprise that this was going to be here. So many things have popped up just from being at CES, and I'm so glad I was able to bring this video to you because what a very beautiful car this is. Thank you guys. Sorry, we're not quite done. This is just the fun bits of filming at CES. I am worried about a couple things for this vehicle. First of all, the price. It's going to be built in the US, everything's set up, but $83,000 starting, doesn't qualify for the tax credit, so I'm really curious to see how that plays out for this vehicle. The other thing is actually the efficiency. You know, seeing a number here, 432 watt-hour per mile is the EPA estimated number. Okay, I'm really curious to see if that's based off WLTP. That would be really bad, but I'm really curious to see how that plays out for Polestar 3. Other than those two things, wow, beautiful design. It's the right size. You can really put a family in here comfortably. You can put all your stuff in here comfortably. I think the design is amazing. The rear is quite unique as well with really intricate lighting things back here. I like the small little windshield wiper on the back as well. The wheels are awesome. You have to get the performance pack in my impression. It really helps adapt the air suspension, the driveline with you know, sort of torque vectoring capability on the rear as well, so you can start to move it around. I was really pleased to see that you can go ESC off. Polestar is a performance brand. It's really important that these cars rip, and I really can't wait to get it out on track, on back roads, doing everything I like. The thing I like about this car is it seems like it would be an amazing cruiser. Finally, we get Bowers & Wilkins in Polestar, not from Polestar 2, Polestar 1 had it actually. And you know, it should just be a nice, comfortable cruiser, but then, you know, push some buttons, crank up the dial, and I'm just hoping it's got all the performance grid to match the seatbelt color here and the brake color. So thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. We'll see you in another one soon from here at CES. Bye-bye.